Deep in the swamps of Florida, a ghost-like flower blooms, shrouded in mystery and allure. This is the ghost orchid, also known as Dendrophylax lindeni. Its ethereal beauty has captivated botanists and nature enthusiasts alike. The ghost orchid is a marvel of nature, with its delicate white petals that seem to float in midair. This orchid is very rare. It is called a ghost orchid because its white flowers look like they are floating in the air, almost like a spectral apparition. The ghost orchid is an epiphyte. This means it grows on other plants for support, but it does not harm its host. Instead of taking nutrients from the other plants, it gets its food from the air and rain, absorbing moisture and nutrients through its roots. Ghost orchids don't have leaves. They have green roots that grab onto tree bark, which is essential for their survival. The ghost orchid is endangered. This means there are not many left in the wild, and their numbers are dwindling. They're mostly found in Florida, Cuba, and the Bahamas, thriving in the humid, swampy environments of these regions. These orchids like warm temperatures and lots of humidity. This makes the swamps their perfect home where they can flourish. It is very difficult to grow a ghost orchid. Even expert growers find it to be a challenge due to its specific needs and delicate nature. But with the right knowledge, dedication, and a lot of care, it is possible to help this amazing plant survive and even thrive, ensuring that its ghostly beauty continues to enchant future generations. Growing a ghost orchid starts with choosing the right substrate. Think of the substrate as the orchid's home. It needs to provide support and help the orchid get nutrients and water. Ghost orchids don't grow in soil like many other plants. In the wild, they grow on the bark of trees, so you need to give them a substrate that is similar to tree bark. A good substrate for ghost orchids is a mix of bark, moss, and perlite. The bark provides a sturdy surface for the orchid to attach its roots. The moss helps to hold moisture, and the perlite improves drainage. You can buy pre-made orchid mixes, but many growers like to create their own. The most important thing is to choose a substrate that is long-lasting, airy, and holds some moisture. This will help your ghost orchid thrive. Ghost orchids are like little sunbathers, but they prefer their sun filtered, like it would be in a swamp. They need bright, indirect light to grow. Direct sunlight is too harsh for them and can burn their delicate roots. If you are growing your ghost orchid indoors, a south-facing window with a sheer curtain is a good option, and you can also use artificial grow lights. LED grow lights are a popular choice because they are energy efficient and don't produce too much heat. Temperature is also important. Ghost orchids like it warm, just like in their natural swamp habitat. Daytime temperatures should be between 70 degrees Fahrenheit and 85 degrees Fahrenheit. At night, they prefer a drop of about 10 degrees. Maintaining a consistent temperature is key to keeping your ghost orchid happy. Next to light and temperature, humidity is crucial for ghost orchids. Remember, these orchids come from humid swamps. They thrive in environments with 80% humidity or higher. Creating this high humidity is one of the biggest challenges of growing ghost orchids. One way to increase humidity is to use a humidifier. You can also place your orchid on a humidity tray. This is a tray filled with pebbles and water. As the water evaporates, it creates a humid microclimate around the orchid. Good airflow is also essential, especially in high humidity. Without airflow, your orchid is at risk of fungal diseases. Make sure there is good air circulation around your orchid. A small fan can help, but avoid directing it straight at the plant. Section 5. Watering and feeding your ghost orchid. Watering a ghost orchid is, well, a delicate balance. These unique plants require specific care to thrive. You want to keep the roots moist but not soggy. This is crucial because the roots need to breathe. Overwatering can lead to root rot, which is a common problem for ghost orchids. Root rot can be fatal if not addressed promptly. The best way to water a ghost orchid is to soak the roots for 20 to 30 minutes in a sink filled with rainwater or distilled water. This method ensures the roots get enough moisture without becoming waterlogged. Let the excess water drain completely before putting the orchid back in its spot. Proper drainage is essential to prevent root rot. Water your orchid about twice a week during the growing season, which is spring and summer. This is when the plant is actively growing and needs more water. In the winter, the orchid goes dormant and needs less water. During this period, the plant's growth slows down significantly. You can water it 2 to 3 times a month during this time. Be careful not to overwater, as the plant is not actively growing. Use a balanced orchid fertilizer diluted to half strength once a month during the growing season. Fertilizing helps provide essential nutrients for growth. Avoid using tap water, as the minerals can build up and harm the orchid. Instead, use rainwater or distilled water to keep your ghost orchid healthy. Section 6. Finding your ghost orchid. Finding a ghost orchid to buy can be tricky. Because they are so rare and difficult to grow, they are not sold in most garden centers. Here are a few places where you might be able to find one. Orchid shows and societies. Orchid shows and societies are great places to find rare and unusual orchids, including ghost orchids. You can talk to experienced growers and get advice on care. Reputable nurseries. Some nurseries specialize in orchids. These nurseries often have a wider selection of orchids than regular garden centers. Online marketplaces. You can find ghost orchids for sale online, but be careful. Only buy from reputable sellers with good reviews. Make sure they have experience shipping live plants. Section 7. The price of rarity. Ghost orchids are expensive. Their price reflects their rarity, the difficulty of growing them, and the high demand from collectors. Expect to pay anywhere from $25 for a small seedling to over $200 for a mature, blooming size plant. The price also varies depending on the seller, the size and health of the plant, and whether it's in bloom. Don't be tempted to buy a cheap ghost orchid from an unreliable source. It's best to invest in a healthy plant from a reputable seller. This will give your orchid the best chance of survival. Remember, you're not just buying a plant, but a piece of natural history. Section 8. Ensuring your orchid's health. Once you have your ghost orchid, you want to keep it healthy. Here are some tips to ensure your orchid thrives in its environment. Regular inspections. Regularly check your orchid for any signs of pests or diseases. This is crucial for early detection and treatment. Look for any changes in the color or texture of the roots or flowers. Healthy roots should be firm, white and green. Pest control. Keep an eye out for pests like mealybugs, spider mites and scale. These pests can cause significant damage if not controlled. If you see any, treat them immediately with a gentle insecticidal soap or neem oil. Regular treatments can prevent infestations. Cleanliness. Keep the area around your orchid clean and free of debris. This includes removing old flower spikes. This will help prevent the growth of bacteria and fungi, which can harm your orchid. Patience. Be patient. Ghost orchids are slow growers. They require time and consistent care to flourish. It can take several years for them to reach blooming size. During this time, ensure they receive the right amount of light, water, and humidity. But with the right care, your patience will be rewarded with the beauty of this rare and special orchid. The journey is as rewarding as the bloom itself. Section 9. Protecting a ghost. Conservation matters. The ghost orchid is more than just a beautiful plant. It's a symbol of the fragility of our natural world. The ghost orchid is endangered. This means it is at risk of becoming extinct in the wild. Habitat loss is the biggest threat to the ghost orchid. As humans continue to develop and destroy their swamp habitat, these orchids are running out of places to live. We can all help to protect the ghost orchid. Support organizations that are working to conserve orchids and their habitats. Educate others about the importance of plant conservation. By working together, we can ensure that this ghost continues to haunt our swamps for generations to come.